Hello and welcome back to Guides to Brides, the wedding podcast. In this episode, we are talking about something very exciting: bridal wear, fittings and appointments. Today, I'm joined by the lovely Rebecca from TDR Bridal in Birmingham. Do you want to quickly introduce yourself to the listeners?
Yes, so my name's Rebecca, or Beck, how you'll always go as. I'm the owner of TDR Bridal Birmingham, and I have been trading for 16 long years.
Wow,
now.
amazing.
Yes. So lots of experience, lots of lessons along the way, and lots to share actually, lots to, give out to help other brides.
Amazing. And what is your favourite thing about running a bridal boutique?
Oh gosh, there are so many different aspects to running a bridal shop, but I suppose for me personally there are two key things. First and foremost is that no one day is the same. Every day is different, and there are so many things that you need to know and learn to be the owner of a bridal shop. So I enjoy that challenge every day. And secondly, obviously the brides.
Yeah.
Even now, after all these years, I don't often get a chance to actually serve a bride anymore. But I'm always walking the floor and looking and watching what my girls are doing. And when I see a bride get that say yes to the dress moment, it's just...
Oh, it's just magic.
It's
and I've had my say yes to the dress moment at TDR Bridal.
You did. I wasn't there.
I know, gutted, but it was brilliant. It was a great experience.
Was it? Oh, good.
Yes.
Good.
Perfect. So I think what we'll do is we'll jump in straight to the deep end today, because when we were discussing what we're going to talk about in our podcast, we said like one of the biggest things for you is brides coming in and having a bit of a wobble after they've picked their dress.
Oh yeah. So I would say this happens to, I'm going to be cautious and say at least 50%.
Mm-hmm.
At least 50% of all the brides who buy their wedding dress, whether that be from us or whether that be from any shop, because we do have brides ring us and say, oh, I've had this wobble, and where did you buy your dress from? And we talk them through it. So it happens more than anybody in the bridal industry would like to actually admit, but it's a really, really common and normal reaction actually, and I think that stems mainly from the pressure that brides are under now, with being Instagram worthy, and is the style right? Is it going to work with this? Is it going to work with that? The worst thing that brides always have a tendency to do is go home and look at the photos on their phone, which they haven't got their makeup on, they haven't got their hair done, the dress isn't fitted to them, it's not done by a professional photographer. Auntie Flo did it and she's wobbling around, and it's just... all of those things combined can make a bride feel really, really insecure because she thinks that's the finished product, and obviously it's not. Generally, to brides, we kind of say, that's okay, don't worry, don't panic, come back in. Because a wedding dress is like no other purchase that you will ever make. Even when you're having children and you're buying your first Moses basket, it's not the same. It's a one-off, once in a lifetime moment, and it happens really quickly. And to try and get a bride to remember that feeling is the most important thing. Because all of the other, doubts that they have that come creeping in, as soon as you get a bride back in her dress, she suddenly goes, oh,
I remember this now.
I remember this feeling. I remember why I said yes to this dress, why I chose this particular dress. And
I mean, it's not exactly a cheap purchase, is it? It's actually, for me, it's probably the most expensive outfit I'm going to ever buy.
Ever. And like I say, there's so much pressure around, is it the right dress? Is it the right style? Will he love it?
Yeah.
What will my parents think? What will my friends, what will, everybody there think? Am I going to look my best in this dress? there's so many things that and emotions and thoughts that go through a bride's head after she's walked away from saying yes to the dress. Because first of all, she's on a high. You know, she's like, I've done it, I've said yes, and I love it, I love it, I love it.
Then the dust settles.
The dust settles and they go away, and then they start to look at the pictures that Auntie Flo did and go, oh, my bum doesn't quite look right in that, and that seam there's not, and they start to kind of hone in on details that actually don't really matter at that point because they're not the finished product. So for us, it's just about reassuring them and saying, come on, come back in. Let's go through it again. And as soon as they put it back on, like I said, they 99% of the time go, oh, that's it. Yeah. I did make the right decision.
And you've dealt with, I want to say probably thousands of brides, because your boutique is not exactly small, is it? I mean, how many appointments can you have at once?
We can have 24 appointments. No, we can have 6 appointments at once, 24 in a day.
Wow.
On a normal Saturday.
So, you know, if even 80% of those, 50% of them say yes to the dress, you're dealing with quite a few brides in one day.
Yeah. I'm going to say almost 1,500 brides a year.
Wow. So you have to deal with so many potential wobbles. Yeah. How many would you say have actually, when they put their dress on at the fitting, decided that's not the one?
A very, very small percentage, and I do mean I could probably, in 16 years, I could count 10 that have just said, I just can't wear it. I just can't wear it.
And I mean, 10 in comparison to the 1,500 brides a year.
Yeah.
You know, across 16 years, I'm not very good at quick maths. I'm sure Hannah will put the number at the bottom.
But yeah, it's... I think, like I say, once they get back in that dress, the penny drops again, and they get that feeling again, and they know they've made the right decision. For the small percentage of brides that we do have that, and there are lots of different reasons actually for why they don't. That if they say to me, Rebecca, I just can't. It's not right. I can't wear it. There are things like we've had brides who were going through IVF at the time when they purchased, and that hasn't worked out. We've had it completely the opposite, where brides have chosen a dress that looked amazing on them at the time, but now they're 7 months pregnant, or they're going to be 7 months pregnant by the time they get married. Those kind of things. Those are usually the reasons why.
It's not really I don't like this dress anymore kind of thing.
No, it's more about circumstances surrounding the wedding. They may have changed their venue completely. They may be going abroad now and they were having a traditional church wedding or something like that. So it's usually it is something surrounding their wedding rather than the dress, themselves. And
I guess that's why it's so important to make sure that you've actually booked your venue before you go for your dress appointment.
First thing before you do any other wedding planning is book your venue, because it can, to a certain extent, not completely, but it can kind of dictate the vibe and the style that you're going for. Venue first every time. We do get brides that buy with no venue, and that's absolutely fine and it works for them, but my advice would be venue first.
I think I can't remember who said it, but someone said to me, going wedding dress shopping before you've booked your venue is like packing for a holiday before you know where you're going.
It's exactly that. It is. Yeah. It's really, really important that you get the venue first. Yeah, I did.
So did I.
Man first, obviously. Fiance first, then the venue. Ring,
absolutely.
Then the venue.
Absolutely. Well, saying that, some people like to go shopping before they've even got the ring, which is just mental to me. But you know what? You do you, girl. That's absolutely fine. Exactly. So, if you do have a dress wobble when you go for your fitting and it's really not the one, what are your options?
Oh, well, this varies obviously from shop to shop. I will never see a bride walk down the aisle in a dress that she doesn't absolutely love, and that's just me personally. That's something that I feel quite strongly about. And I'm in a very fortunate position to be able to help brides financially because the business is so strong. For us, it's not particularly an issue to replace the dress. It's not something we like doing because we can't send it back to the designer. That we have about 10 days after the dress arrives with us, check it over, make sure everything's all right, and then our cut off, they're quite strict on what we can and can't do, and we can only return a dress to them if it's faulty. We certainly can't say bride doesn't like the dress anymore. They'd just go, well your
tough.
dress. So we're in a very fortunate position to be able to do that, and we do as much as we possibly can, help any bride that's struggling. Other alternatives are you could try and sell the dress yourself, and obviously buy another dress, which is not what brides want to hear, but that's that's business ultimately. You can always speak to the seamstress and maybe get the dress sort of customised to something that you were maybe thinking of. It. I don't know, if you bought a sleeveless, strapless, and you then decide you want straps and you want sleeves, we've got seamstresses on site that will customise a dress for you.
So that might be a really good solution to look at first before you make any of those drastic decisions.
Before you make the drastic decisions, certainly speak to the seamstress. I mean, seamstresses are worth their weight in gold to us. We've got 7 seamstresses at the moment, so we've got 1 for every day of the week, and they are flat out. Even now they're busy. They're like, when will this season end? Okay, it's coming, girls, it's coming. But yeah, so the first thing I would recommend, definitely speak to the seamstress. After that, you need to have a conversation with, obviously your family, your fiance, if you're really feeling that you need to change your dress, and see maybe where you can budget on other things, to try and buy yourself a new dress and see how much you'll get for, have a look on all of the sort of selling platforms to see where maybe you could sell your dress and how much approximately you might get for it. There are now a lot of pre-loved shops that you can sell onto, that should pay quite a premium price for a dress that's brand new, never been worn. So there are options out there. I would just say, before you make any of those decisions, don't make it without going back into the shop and retrying the dress on, because those pictures that Auntie Flo took they're not the finished article. So you have to absolutely satisfy yourself that you're making the right decision for you before you go down that road. Because it can be an expensive mistake to make.
Absolutely. That's the thing. I mean, I would say that my dress was probably on the cheaper end of bridal wear. Okay. But I know there are brides out there that will spend £4,000-5,000 plus on a wedding dress.
We don't sell dresses that are that expensive. But yeah, there are brides out there that do spend that sort of money. But I would hope that when you're spending, sort of over £4,000 plus, that you're buying something that's very couture and very bespoke, and that you've absolutely made the right decision. Yeah, totally agree. And ultimately it's not about what you spend on your wedding dress that's the important thing. It's just about how it makes you feel. And whilst our stylists kind of, when they're serving a bride, they'll kind of say, do you have a budget that we need to be respectful of? And they will not pull if a bride says, £1,500 is my limit, please don't show me anything over that. If something's £1,560, they'll pull it, but it's not about how much you've spent, it's about
how it makes you
feel. And that can be a £500 dress. It doesn't have to be a £5,000 dress. There's something out there for everyone, which again I think is really important. It's important to me anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I went for my appointment, I was served by Della, and Della said to me, like, what is the budget? We said the budget, and we found dresses in a variety of different ranges, and I ended up trying on one of the ones that was on the lower range, and it was the dress.
The dress, exactly.
And I could really vouch for that. It doesn't matter about the price. It is more, as long as it's within your budget and you're happy with what you're spending, that's all that counts.
Exactly. It's how it makes you feel.
Totally.
I often say to brides, it is like the man. It's the same thing when you know. You just know, and like, I do have brides that go, oh, I've been to 17 shops and I've tried on 55 dresses, and I just think, stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Probably everything then becomes like a white haze.
It's just a blur of dresses. But that fundamentally for me is down to the stylist. That's their job to say, no, we've tried that style. Do you remember you didn't like this about that style? But you did like this, and this one's got, so the stylist has a really important job to do to make the bride feel safe and know that she's making the right decisions as she's going along. And because it is a process of elimination fundamentally, because they're all beautiful, let's face it. I mean, gosh, I do all the buying.
How do you control yourself?
Well, don't ask my husband. It's a little bit like shoes. He's like, do you need this one, Rebecca? And I'm like, of course I need it.
Yes, I can see it in the window.
It's got to be there. So yeah, I mean, they're all beautiful, but they're all beautiful on different people for different reasons. And it's just about being guided and reminded along the way of why you're choosing the dress that you're choosing, and what particular thing about that particular dress is right for you, and the other one that your friends pulled and going, but you've got to try this on, isn't right for you, because it might be right for them and they might think it's beautiful, and it is a beautiful dress, but it's not what you're looking for. And it's not that the stylist will have picked up on all the things that you've said about, I really like this lace, or I really like these buttons, I really don't like these sleeves, and her job is to pick up on all those things. So fundamentally, if you've been to 17 shops and tried on 55 dresses, you've not had a stylist that really knows what she's doing, and that's really important, because you can get lost.
That's the thing.
There's a lot of frogs out there, aren't there? Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, and it's the thing is, when I walked into my appointment, I've seen so many dresses working in the industry. Yeah, I've seen so many dresses. So I kind of knew what I wanted, but I was open to trying a few things because, having seen so many styles, it's so difficult to pinpoint which one you think you would look good in. Yeah. So I think my advice would be, when you do go to your dress appointment, that you think about the styles that you like, and then you express what you like and what you don't like, rather than this is my dress or this is my dress.
Yeah, because we have that, that's something that we have quite often, is brides that hunt down a dress, that they've seen it somewhere, and they've been on the designer's website and they've rung every single stockist in the UK to get this exact dress in this exact colour, and they email you and you say, yes, we've got that dress, and they go, oh my gosh, that's amazing, I can't wait, and they come in and they put it on and they go, oh, it's not what I thought it would be.
Well, that's exactly it, because I phoned your team because I saw a dress that I liked and went, oh, that's one in particular I would like to try on. Yeah. Tried it on and I was like, no, this is not it.
And isn't it it's almost like you're starting from scratch. Again, everything that you had, you've got everything lined up, and my bridesmaids will go with it, and this will go, and when you see it in the mirror and it doesn't work, you're like, oh. And I see that so often with brides. That's probably the most common thing that we see, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Brides that have hunted down a dress, put it on and gone, oh, God, no.
It's not the one.
This is not the one. Take it off. Let's start again. And that's then where the stylist comes in and,
Yeah, definitely.
And now for a quick word from our sponsors for this week at the National Wedding Show. Planning a wedding is a special occasion, but we know it can also be a busy time. So to make your life easier, book your tickets to the National Wedding Show at NEC Birmingham from the 3rd to the 5th of March 2023 and meet a lineup of brilliant wedding suppliers. From the wedding dress of your dreams to inspirational stationery and first-class entertainment, a day at the show will leave you brimming with ideas on how to plan your big day as you've always imagined it. Industry's leading wedding professionals will also reveal top tips and industry secrets you need to know to make your dream wedding day a reality on the Wed Talk stage. From logistics on the big day to budgeting to wedding etiquette and decor, they'll help you bring all your wedding ideas to life. The Catwalk brings the latest looks for brides, bridesmaids, grooms and guests to life in a fabulous live show. To make your day even better, book a VIP ticket, including a complimentary glass of bubbly from the VIP lounge, a goodie bag full of beauty products, and exclusive access to the catwalk seats. Use the code GFB23 to book standard tickets for just £16.50 and VIP tickets for just £33.50. That's GFB23 at checkout. You can find the link in the show notes. And now back to the episode.
So the next thing I want to talk about
Yes.
is the difference between an appointment and a fitting, because I think sometimes terminology gets a little bit mixed up, and I think it's important for people who are, might have just got engaged or are in the process of looking for their dress to know what the difference is.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously an appointment or a bridal appointment is your appointment to come and try wedding dresses on, excuse me, and to find your style. Mm-hmm. So our appointments are for about 2 hours, usually, just under 2 hours. That is your chance to bring your guests and enjoy wedding dress shopping. Mm-hmm. That's a bridal appointment. A fitting or a bridal fitting is a completely different thing. And we get a lot of emails from brides saying, can I book a fitting? And we have to go, do you mean a fitting or do you mean an appointment? So a fitting for us means a fitting with the seamstress.
Right.
So this is after you've bought your dress. When your dress arrives, you come in for a try-on appointment.
Right.
Okay. You need to learn this, don't you? Yeah. So you've got your bridal appointment. You've got your try-on appointment when your dress comes in. Then, it's about 6 weeks before your wedding day, you have your fittings.
Right.
So your fittings are your appointment with the seamstress.
Okay.
So your first fitting is where you will put your dress on and the seamstress will put her pins in to decide with you where the dress needs to fit you properly, where the length needs to be, where if you want to add your sleeves, it's all at that fitting with the seamstress. Then you will have a second fitting with the seamstress. Usually this is your final fit, your final fitting. Some brides have 5 fittings because they're having so much customised work done, and it's not unusual to have 3 or 4. But the difference between the two is an appointment is your appointment to find your dress, and a fitting is a fitting with a seamstress. Completely different things.
Okay, so how many, you're saying it's not too uncommon for brides to maybe have 3 or 4 fittings. On average, what would you say?
I'd say on average 3.
3?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
The ideal situation for us would be that every bride comes in to have her first try on and the dress fits, the length's perfect and we don't need to do anything. That would be the ideal for us.
It's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen because we're all different shapes and sizes and we're all different heights. You would normally have a first fitting with the seamstress. Sometimes you then can go straight into a final fit. But 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, there's always another fitting. So you do need to, when you're kind of planning your schedule for the last couple of months before you get married, try and keep a bit of free time back for that. You're lucky because you're a TDR bride, and we we do have fittings at 9 o'clock in the evening. Literally, we work 7 days a week. We'll do them on Sunday mornings from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night to suit the brides. Just so that you don't you can try and keep back that holiday because you want that for your honeymoon.
Yes.
We try and keep it back, but ultimately it is a lot of pressure those last few weeks, so it's really important to try and give yourself a bit of time and just know that you may have to come back 2 or 3 times to get your dress fitted to you perfectly. Really important.
I think that's really important to mention, because we always talk about like the urgency of making sure you get your appointment, but actually putting time aside in those last couple of months is really important.
It's really important, because we find generally that brides are absolutely fine all the way through, and then the fittings start, and then the stress kicks in. And that's not just with us and the dress, it's everything, because everybody wants a piece of that bride at that time, and your menus, and you have you done this, have you done that, and the tick lists start to really become important, whereas early on in the planning, you can kind of cruise through it a bit and think, oh, this is nice.
Well, that's where I am at the moment. I'm like 11 months away. I'm like, I'm so organised, and I just know that like 3 months to the day, it's going to be like, oh, crap.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. And also, I mean, even the last week, before the wedding, you've got things that just can't be done until that last week. So you've got to kind of pace yourself and keep a little bit of time and think, right, these things can't be done till that last week. So I can't be working till the day before I get married, because it's just too stressful. And so it's exhausting.
Side note, make sure you book enough holiday before and during and slightly after the wedding, so that you've got enough time. Side note.
And hopefully as well, you can use suppliers along the way that do understand that you've got a lot of demands on you at that time, and that everything that you're doing with them is convenient to you, not to them, to you. You're the bride, you're the customer, and that's really important when you're finding all of your suppliers, really, that they're going to work around you, not you having to work around them, because it's tricky enough without having demands on your time as well. So you need to think very carefully about the accessibility with everybody that you choose, whether it's your stationary people or your venue or whatever. It needs to fit around you and your lifestyle, not theirs.
Yeah, really, really good point. I'd like to go back slightly to the fittings. I think one question we get quite a lot is, obviously people know what they kind of want to spend on their wedding dress, but they don't know how much it costs for alterations. So in your experience, I know it will vary, because obviously if someone needs more or custom work, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. But on average, what would you say is a good amount to sort of budget for? Because we can argue that alterations are probably more important than the actual dress cost.
I think we obviously, the same as you, Nikita, we hear brides say, oh, the alterations are so expensive, I hadn't budgeted for this. And you think, well, what is the point in spending £1,000 on a dress, £1,500 on a dress, whatever you're going to spend, and then not have it fitted perfectly so it's yours? And for me, it's a bit crazy. I don't understand why brides would not have the alterations and not always see the value in them, because that's the most important thing to me.
It's not your dress until it's fitted to you, is it?
It's not. And wouldn't it be nice that we were all a standard size, 10, 12, 14, whatever, and we were all the same height? That would save us a lot of time, but it just doesn't work that way. So it is really, really important that you budget for your alterations. And I would say, as an average, between £250 and £300, I think, is a good sum of money to put to one side. Some brides, it's 80 quid. Other brides, it can be 500, depending, if they want
lots of
custom work and things built in, or a back filled, or a back taken out, or a slip put in, or there's all sorts of things that we do. But I would say a sensible amount would be £250, £300. Put that away. Know that that's your budget. And always, our seamstresses are very good at kind of working that budget with the bride. If the bride says, well, I'll tell you what our seamstresses do. They'll say to you, right, Nikita, there's 2 ways we can alter the length on this dress. We can either do this, or the budget version of that is we do this. Mm-hmm. Nobody will probably know the budget version's happened, realistically. You will know. But there are different ways of altering things. Easiest way to explain it is, so on say for instance a lace hem, mm-hmm. There are 2 ways to do it. You can either, when a hem, you can kind of see the edge of the lace.
Yes.
Right, so we can either just move that up and resew it, or, which is the cheap version, or we cut it all out, we take it off, we alter the length of the dress, then we hand sew it all back on.
Right. So you can see the clear difference.
The difference. Yeah. And I think once brides kind of understand what the seamstress is doing and what the seamstress can do, perhaps more economically for the bride, then she understands the value in it a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to mention as well, professional bridal seamstresses.
Oh, they are honestly, they're hard to find.
Yeah.
They are. I've got one that's been with me right from the start, Annie. And she keeps saying she's going to retire. She's not going to retire. I've told her very clearly she's not going to retire ever.
Annie, no.
No. But honestly, we've had seamstresses in the past, and we've just looked at their work and gone, no, not for us, because there's such a difference between even making your own clothes and altering a wedding dress. A wedding dress, when you turn it inside out, is not the inside. Mm-hmm. It's got another inside out inside that, where all the structure is, all the bone work is, and they're really technically made, and they're certainly not something I would ever attempt, and I'm quite good at sort of pinning and understanding the construction, but I would not attempt personally altering a wedding dress. And then you have to think about things like, if a dress has got beadwork on it, all of that beadwork has to be stripped. If it's been taken in at the side, it's got to come out.
Wow.
It's then got to all be taken apart.
Yeah.
It's then got to be put back together. The inside of that dress has also got to be remade so that you can't tell it's been altered, so that when you wear it, it doesn't rub, it doesn't hurt you, and it feels comfortable, and it fits as closely to you as it possibly can. And then all of that beadwork has got to be hand sewn back on.
God.
It's so just to take it, I'm only taking the sides in, we think, we know how long that takes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot longer than just taking in, for instance, the top that I'm wearing, the top that you're wearing, that would be a quick whiz up. It's a lot more technical, I think, than people really understand. In fact, something I have thought about doing is actually a step-by-step, video or some kind of guide as to what really goes into it.
Yeah, I think that would be really valuable.
Yeah, in the private Facebook group.
I
thought about doing it in there.
Yeah.
And showing brides what really happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I mean, for those that don't know, at TDR, when you find your dress at TDR, you go into a private Facebook group.
You do.
For advice, questions, and your team are great in there.
Yeah, they're really
any
good.
Questions, they jump there straight on it.
Yeah, I know. Even on Christmas Day, we answer questions. Do you know why though? I do have a real reason for that, and it's because I know when I was getting married, if I wanted to ask a question, the shop that I bought my dress from back in the day was only open 10 till 4, 4 days a week, and it was only by telephone. There was no emails. So for me to get a reply to my question, I'd have to sit on it for days and days and days. And I just think brides now need that reassurance, because things have changed so much with social media, that if they've got a question that they need to know, they need to know it now. They can't sit on it for 3 or 4 days. So that's why we do that group, and that's why. And you know what's lovely? That brides have already got married are supporting brides that are getting married, and
you know, they all post their own photos in there as well. It's lovely.
It's lovely. Yeah, it's really
just a really
nice.
Positive group.
It is. Yeah, I love it.
Unlike your usual sort of bride group that I've found is like either horror stories or wholly negative sometimes. Actually, it's really nice to be in a positive
group.
So if you manage to find one, you know, please jump in, tell us.
I mean, some of them are really, really good, but like you said, there's a lot of negativity out there. We don't tend to do that at TDR. No.
And actually, one of the things I found really refreshing, and it's, you know, part of the discussion that we were going to have anyway, is like how other brides help with your confidence as well. Like, I think one bride posted in there recently about how she was really worried because she hadn't met her weight loss goal. And can I just say, you know, you don't need to lose weight for your wedding. If you want to, that's a different story. But you don't need to. You don't need to feel pressured.
And don't put off your wedding dress shopping. No. Because you want to lose the weight. That's just, you know.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, other brides were in there going, no, you'll be absolutely fine. I went through it. They're brilliant. And, you know, it was just really nice to sort of see people empathising, but also supporting.
It's women supporting women, isn't it, at the end of the day? And I think that's, you know, I'm a real advocate for that. I really believe in that. So, yeah, that group works really well, I think, for brides that, you know, and we talked about the dress wobble. Yeah. The brides go in there and they go, oh, I'm having a wobble, and they all go, oh, it's fine. This happened to me. Yeah, just go back in, you know. And the staff now don't always have to jump on a thread because other brides do, and other brides support them, which is really lovely to see.
Yeah, I totally agree. But while we're on the topic of fittings versus appointments.
Yes.
What do I need to bring to both? So when you're going to an appointment, what do you need to bring?
So when you're going to an appointment, when you come into TDR for an appointment, you don't particularly need to bring anything with you apart from your nearest and dearest. It's that simple. You know, if you want to wear makeup, wear makeup. If you want to have your tan on, have your tan on. If you want your hair done, have your hair done. We're not precious about our samples because for us, they're, I don't want to call them work tools, but that's what they are. They're there to be used and enjoyed and played with and, you know, squeezed into or clipped or pinned or whatever. They're not precious to us at all. So you don't need to ask us if you can wear your makeup. Of course you can wear your makeup. Of course you can have your tan on. You need to look and feel your best when you go wedding dress shopping. So no rules. I don't like rules at all, ever. When you come for your fitting with the seamstress, obviously you get your booklet and you get told, you know, there's a list of things that you'll need. But fundamentally, you need your shoes, the shoes you'll be wearing on the day, because of the height of the heel. If you haven't found them or you haven't, they haven't arrived yet, you know, you bought them online, they haven't arrived, you can wear a shoe that you know is the same height. Shoes is really important. We can't adjust a hem without the shoes. The other things to think about are maybe you want to wear a strapless bra. If you do, bring it with you. If you're not sure which one you want to wear, bring them all. Let's, you know, the seamstress will try different ones with you and see which ones you feel best in. But we can also sew in bra cups, so you don't necessarily have to have a bra. We can either sew your bra in for you, or we can sew bust cups in that put everything in place that needs to be in place. And
keep the girls under control.
Exactly. And do you know what? We're really fussy about the fit. Like that for us that's our, if you like, our trademark. That's what sets us apart, because we need to make sure that it's absolutely perfect and it's fitted to you. You know. So there's lots of things we can do as well with, if you're wearing a bra, we put we call them bra carriers, but they're actually like like loops for a belt. They're like those that go inside the dress so that the bra doesn't rise up.
Got
so
ya.
it never gets.
That's a great
really
idea.
Clever, yeah. Also, as well, brides like to wear shapewear. We've sewn bottoms into petticoats that all sorts of things.
I didn't even know this was a possibility.
Yes,
this is really interesting.
So if a girl wants a J-Lo bum, you can buy from Primark the knickers that have the J-Lo bum in.
I did not know this either.
Oh, you can, Nikita, if you need to go shopping. So we've sewn those. We've sewn them into dresses, into the linings, obviously, so that they can't actually be seen. We've sewn them into petticoats, so that, again, they can't be seen when you're taking them off at the end of the night. They're not flying out. So those kind of things. There's also a thing which is, I find it hilarious, but it's stick-on knickers.
What?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? Stick-on knickers.
Stick-on knickers. So you know that...
I'm like literally in shock.
Yeah, they are a thing. They are a thing. And they're amazing, actually. They're really good. But you know how a lot of dresses now have sheer sides?
Yes.
So brides really struggle with finding underwear that's not going to give them a VPL or be seen through that sheer side. So somebody in their infinite wisdom has invented stick-on knickers, and they are basically knickers with no sides that stick on.
Okay.
They come in small, medium or large. I'll leave that one there. And but they're really good.
Yeah.
They're really good for fittings because they are restickable as well. Yeah, I'm not sure that you'd try them for your fitting, or maybe don't have any knickers on for your fitting, whichever. The seamstresses won't mind. But for your wedding day, you can have stick-on knickers so that you don't have anything showing at the sides. And no VPL.
I can't believe that. That's brilliant. I'm in awe of this idea. Whoever's done that, kudos to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. So what I will say though is, if you're going for your bridal appointment or your fitting, please bring knickers with you.
Yes, bring
please
your
wear them.
Yeah, please wear them. I mean, our stylists are, they've seen it all. They're absolutely fine with it. But it is nice to wear knickers for the stylist. It's just good manners. But
please watch your manners. Wear knickers.
Please wear knickers. Yeah. They have a sign on the door. No, we don't do signs on the door either. No instructions, no rules. Just turn up. It's fine.
Brilliant. So I think it goes without saying, wherever you choose to go and shop for your wedding dress, it's really important to make sure that you, number one, feel comfortable there.
Yes, definitely.
Because you're going to, clearly, from our discussion...
It's a long relationship.
Yeah. It's a really long relationship. You're going to be spending, you're probably going there about 5 times in your whole...
We don't have a rule on that. So, if we have brides that come in once a fortnight to try the sample on because they're losing weight and they just want to see how they're getting on with it. So, it can be 150 times, it can be 5 times, it varies, but it's sometimes a 2-year relationship from a bride first coming in, choosing a dress, to actually getting married. So you've got to like the people and like the shop and feel comfortable. And I think what's really important is to feel comfortable enough to say, I'm not happy with this. That's really important, because if you feel that you can't say anything, that puts the bride in a really awkward and difficult position. And that's something then that a bride goes home and mulls over and stresses about and gets worked up about and gets anxiety about, and
it causes a dress wobble.
And it's so we need to be really approachable. Brides need to be able to pick up the phone, put it on the group, put it on it, whatever. Say, excuse me, can you just help me with this, because I'm struggling, I'm not happy, or this has happened and I'm not sure, should it have happened, or it's really important. Really important that a bride feels comfortable with the people that she's bought a dress from.
And that's the thing. I think before you go dress shopping, read the reviews of that boutique.
Yeah, definitely.
Make sure you're absolutely happy before you sort of book that appointment, because sometimes dress appointments, especially if the boutique has only got one ability to do one appointment at each time. They might have like a deposit charge for that, just to make sure they don't waste their time.
I absolutely get that, because I was doing some sums the other day, working out how much it actually costs any shop to get a bride through the door, whether or not she buys. And I would say in the industry today, it probably costs anything between £150 and £200 for any bridal shop.
Wow.
To get a bride through the door.
And so if you've only got the ability to have one appointment at a time,
and that bride doesn't turn up,
yeah,
that's somebody's, you know, livelihood that's being affected. So it is really important that if you book an appointment, you like the shop and you're going to turn up.
Yes.
If they charge for the appointment, that you understand why. Obviously, we're in a really fortunate position that we don't need to charge for appointments because we have a waiting list, so we can fill ours really quickly. But not all shops are in that same fortunate position. You know, like you say, they've only got one changing room and it's one lady on her own making a living, and it's important that brides
understand
turn up or cancel or at least understand how important it is to the shop.
And I should say as well that most of those that do charge a deposit will actually refund that if you buy a dress.
So they will.
It's not going to be a lot of money either. I think I've seen anywhere between £10 and £25.
Yeah, I mean, there are some shops out there that are charging for VIP appointments. We don't do that because we just think you're all a VIP. You know, that's just my personal opinion. But I do understand the reason why some shops are having to charge for appointments because of no-shows.
Yeah, and I think
that.
That's so. What we need to do then is make sure that we, number one, have looked at that shop's website,
do your research,
social media,
do your research,
like what they stock, like the have checked that it's all in our price range, all of that kind of stuff. Are happy forming a long-term relationship with these people. And then you have an enjoyable experience, and that's the main thing,
you know,
really.
And for me, the experience is everything. I mean, going back to the many years ago, decades ago, that I got married, I went twice. I was only allowed to take my mum.
Do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it was a bad thing.
Really?
Yeah. You know, I'm not saying that I would have, but I would have liked to involve my mother-in-law. Yeah. And I wasn't allowed.
Okay.
I think there can be obviously there's limits. We had a bride the other day who got 17 guests, and we were like, okay, that's fine, come on in, but you're going to have to sit on the floor if you have you know. So it's got to be sensible. But yeah, I think it's important to be able to bring the people that are important to you to your appointment. But when I bought my dress, so I went twice. I was not allowed to take anybody but my mum, and she forgot to give me my petticoat, my hoop.
Okay.
Because I had a princess dress, because I am a princess. And I had to go back, and she opened the door probably about 4 inches, squashed it through and just shoved it at me, shut the door. I was like, okay, that's the end of my bridal experience then. So, I mean, obviously things have moved on a lot since then, but it's really important that you do your homework and you like where you're going, and you know that you're going to feel comfortable with those girls in that shop for all of that time, and you know, they become friends. Yeah. You know. Yeah. Because you're putting a lot of trust in them. Yeah, you are. Ultimately, you are kind of, especially if you're a control freak like me, to be able to go, there you go, you're looking after my wedding dress. You know,
yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
It's a big thing.
It, as we said earlier, it's probably the most expensive outfit the majority of us are going to buy.
Ever. Yeah. Ever.
So you need to feel like you can trust the people that are running that boutique.
You know, I mean, here's another thing, you know, this word Bridezilla. Oh,
I hate that word.
I hate that word. Who invented that word? So this is what so many people don't understand. Well, is she a Bridezilla? No, she's a woman who's stressed because she spent more money on a dress than she's ever going to spend fundamentally in her life. She's organising the biggest party for the most precious people in her world. She is the centre of attention. She's allowed to be stressed.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
You know, stop labelling her. I don't even want to say the word, but please don't please don't label her. She's just a woman who's stressed, and and we're like, come in, sit down, what's going on? Let's talk about it.
And usually you can solve the problem
that way. You can solve
the
problem that way, absolutely. So I'm a firm believer in just supporting other women and enjoying your appointment, making sure that you've chosen the shop carefully, that you know it's the right shop for you. And if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Don't do it. If you have a gut feeling, just don't do it. Go away and sleep on it. Is my firm advice.
That is really, really good advice.
So
really
there's loads, isn't there?
Absolutely, but I think we will wrap it up there. But thank you so much for coming in.
Do you know what? It's been lovely to talk to you.
I know.
So exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited to go. I'm waiting for my dress to arrive.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I ordered it August, so I imagine it's probably going to be February time.
Yeah, I can actually look it up.
Well, we'll do that after.
Give you an ETA, an insider ETA.
Insider ETA. This is the benefit of working in the industry, everyone. But thank you so much for coming in.
It's been lovely.
And
it's been really lovely.
Yeah, we're going to put links to TDR's listing on Guides to Brides and their social media in the show notes. And of course, follow us at Guides to Brides on our social media as well. You'll probably see them pop up every now and again when we share some of their fantastic reels. But yeah, it's been fantastic to have you in.
It's been lovely. Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for coming in, and we'll see you all next time.